Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're very glad to welcome you back to our show again this week. We're glad there's people like you out there, people that are interested in the issues that are happening in our cities. Because it is important for good government to have residents that know what's going on, that interact back and forth with the city staff and with the city councils and the mayors. So we're glad that you're out there. If you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have someone on from one of the 9 cities in Northwest Community Television's viewing areas to update us on what are the issues that are happening in that city and what kinds of things you might be concerned about. And then we always encourage you, take down the email, the phone numbers, the website of the city, so if you've got questions, you can get in contact with the people in your city and find out what's happening, and then let them know how you're feeling too. And tonight, we're very happy to have as a guest Mayor Mark Steffenson from Maple Grove.
Well, thank you.
We're glad to have you back with us again.
Glad to be here.
Got to get our updates every once in a while, right?
That's right.
So we're glad that you're with us. And since you've been on our show before, you know that I'm going to let you introduce yourself out to our wider audience. Tell them a little bit about yourself and your time in Maple Grove.
Sure, I'm Mark Steffenson. I'm the mayor of Maple Grove. I've been the mayor since June of 2001, and prior to that I was on the city council for about 4 or 5 years. I'm also an attorney located in Maple Grove with a firm called Henningsen and Snoxel. I've been with them for over 20 years. So, you know, my family, I have a daughter who's 14, and so we're in those high school years.
Oh,
and
yes.
my wife's also an attorney in the community and does a lot of health care benefit work. So we keep ourselves very busy, and the community does a great job of helping everybody. So, you know, it's an exciting time in Maple Grove as usual.
Yeah, this is our Northwest area is a pretty good area, I think.
It's a great community to live in.
It
You know, I
is.
grew up and went to Robbinsdale High School before it closed, and so my wife went to Park Center, so both of us grew up in sort of the northwest suburbs and have been here all our lives. So it's a great place. We obviously view it as a great place to live.
Definitely. Now we'll switch from development to roads, because there's a lot of work going on, and what people always make jokes about the summer being the road construction season, but there's construction that's happening for the second year in a row on I-494 between, I think, is it between?
It's all the way down to Highway 55.
394
all the way up to the interchange.
The interchange, right?
Yeah.
So what side is being constructed on? What's happening there this year? Maybe you can give a little thing about what happened last year, and we'll lead into what's happening now.
So what happened last year is that they completely redid the southbound, or what I'll call the west set of lanes.
Okay.
They expanded that from 2 lanes to 3 lanes from the Fish Lake interchange all the way down to 394. And so throughout the winter, we had 3 lanes going south and 2 lanes coming north.
Right.
Now they've changed for the spring, and they're redoing the northerly lanes, or the east side of 494. So by the fall, it'll be 3 lanes in both directions and completely redone. All the ramps, the bridges, everything will be completed, and we'll all be ready to set go for 3 lanes all the time, which will be great.
Yeah. And that was like one of the last areas on all the freeways around the city to get to 3 lanes, right?
It is, and you know, it's been a long time coming. I remember when, I bet you it's 10, 15 years ago when they completed 494, 3 lanes up to 394.
Right.
And we're going to just keep going north, and then they just stopped.
Yeah. And so it took a little work and a little lobbying on the part of the city to get the Department of Transportation to go for the 3 lanes, is what I'm remembering.
It did. It took a lot of effort from the mayor of Plymouth and myself to lobby them, to lobby some legislators and get some help there to get them to decide to do a full 3-lane package in each way. They had talked about doing sort of a shoulder lane, which, you know, didn't solve the problems. It was not, I didn't think, a good idea. I think the 3 lanes in each direction has proven to be a great idea, a great help, and it really has eliminated a lot of the congestion.
Oh,
I mean, when my law office overlooks the freeway there, And every morning, prior to the 3 lanes, where it was just 2 lanes, every morning the freeway was
Oh,
stopped.
right.
Every morning it was
Right.
stopped. Now, pretty much every morning, when it was 3 lanes, it's wide open and
Ah.
it's free. So, I mean, it really makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah, for people out in our part of the suburbs and west, it saves a lot of time.
You know, if you're traveling to and from work and you can save 15, 20 minutes each day, that gives you a lot of additional time with your family to do other things.
Now, as they move and they're working on different and close ramps and so forth, it's important for people to be able to get information on what's happening there. And how can they do that?
So the best place is on our website.
Okay.
So they just go to the City of Maple Grove website, and we do have a special tab or special area that talks about road construction
Okay.
and highways, so that they can go there and figure out what's going on.
Because there will be times when the road will be closed again?
I think there's only a couple more times
Okay.
the road will be closed, and they'll have up a lot of signs when they're actually going to close the road. I know that a couple of the bridges have been closed, and those 2 bridges should be open June 1st.
Ah.
So the East Fish Lake Road Bridge that goes
Okay.
over 484 in Maple Grove should be open June 1st, and I believe that the bridge or the road that goes under the freeway down at Schmidt Lake Road will be open on June 1st as well.
Now, if people want to, they can sign up for email updates, right?
They can,
Because
yes.
some people are very closely impacted by all this construction, right?
Right, and so they can go to that and they can sign up for that, and it works very well.
And then the ways technology can help us, right?
Right.
Help our cities keep in contact with people have really expanded, I think. And now there's a new bridge going into Maple Grove this summer. Where is that at?
We have the new bridge. There's a new bridge being done at East Fish Lake Road over
Okay.
494, and then we have a series of new bridges that are being put in with the expansion of 610.
Ah,
So that's being worked on
Right.
this summer as well.
more orange barrels, right?
More orange barrels, although we're happy to see them.
And what's happening with Schmidt Lake Road? Is it still closed off, or have they been
It's still
able?
closed.
Okay.
It's still closed. They're still working on the bridge,
Uh-huh.
and I think that they'll be working on that for quite some time. But they should be able to have it open up the road
Okay.
so that it's open, I believe, in June.
Because I'm sure people get anxious about when is the road going to open so I can get from here to there easily.
Yeah, I know for some people in that sort of southwest part of the city, it's sort of difficult to get around right
Oh,
now.
right. And then the same thing will happen on East Fish Lake Road because of the bridge construction. It'll get closed at some point.
Yeah, it's closed right now.
Oh, it is,
And
okay.
so it'll be reopened again in June. And they're getting a lot of the work done on that bridge pretty fast. And so it looks to me like they'll be open in early June here.
And then will all of this construction that we're talking about be able to get completed by fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So 494, all the construction related to 494 should be done by the end of October. It looks like they got a good early start, so I don't know if they're ahead of project or not, but certainly it looked like they're on schedule to be done in time. So that's good news for everybody.
Oh, definitely.
And hopefully they'll be done earlier than that, but certainly I think they'll be done by Halloween.
And now, when this is all done, what kind of benefits will happen to the city?
Well, I think that it's a multitude of benefits. One, it's a lot easier to get around our community. It also, one of the things that people don't think about is that it takes a lot of people off of our city road system and put them
right,
back on the freeway where they belong. If
Right.
I'm coming from St. Michael and I'm going to Plymouth or I'm going to
Right.
Wayzata, a lot of people over the last few years have taken local Maple Grove city roads through our city to get there
right.
instead of being on the freeway because it's so congested. Now, in the mornings, in the evenings, that roadway will be workable. It'll be open
Right.
and traveling fast, and so people will be back on the freeway where they should have been in the first place. And so our road system will be less busy,
Oh,
hopefully
yes.
less traffic,
Right.
less accidents, and less wear and tear on our roads as well. So that helps a lot. And I think it also, the other real benefit it brings to the community is, for businesses, it's so important to have a effective and a dependable transportation system.
Definitely.
If you have trucking aspects, if it's going to be a delay of an hour every day each direction, that's tough on businesses. But if you know it's going to be open, it's a lot easier on businesses.
So everybody will breathe a sigh of relief when
Yes.
the construction gets done, because they've had 100 and 494 all closed off and on at different times. So we've experienced the extra on 169.
Right. Well, and I
Yeah.
think that's the other thing that you forget about is that those people have to go someplace
Right,
else.
right.
So a lot of them go over to 169, or they go over to in Maple Grove. You go out to Lawndale, or right now they're working on Vicksburg and the bridge
Right.
over the railroad tracks in Plymouth. That'll be open this fall. But you'll have 4 lanes there that'll be open as well. So our north-south system this fall will be much, much better than it is or has been.
Now we'll move on to talking a little bit about your new Central Park that has been underway for quite a period of time. Where is your Central Park located? Because this is sort of like New York Central Park, right?
It is a large Central
Yeah.
Park. It's a large park. It is located just east of, or just west of Hemlock Avenue, north of Elm Creek Boulevard. So it's east of our city hall,
Okay.
and it's south of Weaver Lake Road. So it's a big park sort of in the middle of that quadrant. And so that's essentially where it is.
Okay, tell us a little bit about the history of the park's development.
Okay, so when we were first looking at parks years ago, we were talking about having, I guess, what people consider to be more of a traditional,
Right.
community park in the area, which would be more ball fields, softball, soccer, lit
Right.
fields, that type of park for this area. And as we thought about it, what we really needed in the city and what we were going to have as a development in this area, much more high-density apartments,
right.
condos, a lot of people who didn't have a lot of green space or lawn
right,
space.
right.
We decided, after we thought about it, that we were going to make it more into a user-friendly sort of grassy Central Park area that would have play equipment, have some different amenities that would be different than the traditional park.
Right. So a kind of expanding recreational opportunities for people in your city and people that come to visit too.
Right, and more of a, what I'll call a casual or leisurely recreational area.
Now, you put into a new playground equipment as part of the finishing off of this area. What kinds of things are available there?
There's a lot of, I'll call very unique playground equipment. People have been very excited about it. We have rock climbing walls. We have specialized play equipment that the kids are really having a great time on. It's a lot of excitement for them, slides, different types of things that, really will help keep them entertained an awful lot.
And people from out of the area can come and enjoy this whole
Absolutely.
the aspect of it.
It's a great place to relax. There's places for the parents to sit around and, off to the side and watch. So, as a parent, you don't have to be right in there unless you want to be. And there's a place for you to sit and enjoy the day, and you can watch your kids enjoy the day as well.
Right, right. And your amphitheater is part of that Central Park plan too, right?
Yeah, it's just over about a block from the Central Park, and it's a great connection between the two.
And part of the park too are some trails and walking tours, and talk about those amenities.
Sure. So, the city has spent a lot of time and effort planning out our trail system. So in this park, we have a number of different trails.
Okay.
And in combination of where the band shell is, we have a wonderful trail system that goes around the lake there. And we have a wonderful trail system that will go around the lake here, including a boardwalk area that's down around one of the larger areas of water, so that people can be essentially walking right over the edge of the water and enjoying the water as well.
And then a part of your park has been one where people have chosen to put on weddings and events like that.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? Describe it for us.
Sure. It's a very unique area that was laid out with the concept of using it for weddings. And so there is a area at the front, which is sort of a podium area that has tiered podiums. So if you have a wedding couple that would have the traditional sort of wedding party, there is the way to have the wedding party sort of go down the series of steps, and a couple would be up at the top, obviously, with whoever's officiating.
Right.
And then there is a series of grass areas that go back sort of in a, probably the best way to put it is like a checkerboard fashion, so that there is a nice set of concrete trails that go between the different grass areas. So you can have the chairs set up there for however large a wedding you have. And then there's a series, I think it's 6 grassy areas. And so it really flows back, and it's an area that we have invested a lot of money in flowers and shrubs. So it's actually a very beautiful area throughout the spring, summer, and fall because of all the shrubbery and the flowers that we have in the area.
Now, where is that located in the park, approximately?
That is located, I would call it the southwest corner. So the Central Park, there's sort of the chalet building on the east side, and then we have a large grass area, and then just to the west of there is where this wedding area is.
Yeah, because that's, I don't think there's much of that around in the suburban areas there.
I don't think there is. So
At least that I'm aware of.
It's a nice amenity that I think will get a lot of use, and in conjunction with the nice facility that we built right there, it sort of goes hand in hand. If you want to have a wedding, there's a great place right there to have a wedding reception as well.
Now, if people are thinking, oh, that sounds interesting, how can they find out about the rental of that?
The best place, again, is to go through our city website or call city staff at the Parks Department. You would go to our website and go under the parks, and it's easily you can find it there, but you can also call our Parks Department, and they can help set up you to meet with who you need to contact, so you can set up how you rent the space for a wedding or a reception or whatever it is you plan to do there.
And the rental of the parks are available in other parks too for family events and people that want to.
Absolutely, we have a permit system so that you call the Parks Department and ask to, rent or get a permit for a field or for a band shell or the picnic area. We have that ability for you to get those permits, and so that you can plan ahead knowing I have this picnic pavilion for sure on Sunday for our event.
So a lot of things available in the parks in your area, and then that's all under a Park and Recreation Commission?
Yes, it is. So we are one of 3 cities in the state of Minnesota that have a separate Parks and Recreation director system and board that runs it separately from the city, and it works out great for us.
So this is the time when people have been signing up for summer activities, right?
Yes, and I know that the band shell is very, very busy throughout the summer already, but if you have an activity that you want to engage in and need a permit, you need to work on that now so that you can make sure that you get the facility you want.
Yeah, and there's a lot of events that happen in your band shell. I know we've gone to them off and on, and it's fun in the summer evening. The weather's nice. And
it's a beautiful location right on the lake with the band shell. You're sitting looking west over the lake through the band shell with the glass and the sunset. It's absolutely marvelous.
Yeah, it's a cool place. I know we've enjoyed it, so we're glad that Maple Grove is doing that.
Right.
Now, Maple Grove has a farmer's market, and let's publicize to people what day of the week, what time, where can they find it? Where can people find it?
Well, first of all, the farmers market, the outdoor farmers market, starts here in early June.
Right.
It is at the community center, in the parking lot at the community center. It's on Thursday nights. It starts, I think, at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It goes to about 7 o'clock at night. There are a lot of different options there. I think that one of the things that we've prided ourselves in Maple Grove is having a lot of different options or concepts at the farmers market. So it isn't all just simply vegetables, I think that sometimes you see some of these farmers markets and it's sort of one vendor after another that has the tomatoes, carrots, peppers, those things. Versus what we have now is a lot of different types of concepts and a lot of different ideas, and whether it's fresh made bread, whether it's honey, it's a whole set of sometimes it's the meat products. So it's a whole wide variety of things that you might be looking for.
Probably more variety than some.
Yes, I think one of the things I think our farmers market's known for is its wide variety and options.
And then you also have like entertainment or music along extra events that take place?
Usually we will have entertainment or some type
Okay.
of music that goes along with each week's event, so that it's a nice sort of outing for everybody.
Yeah, a family outing.
Yeah.
And then you end up with fresh fruit and vegetables.
Well, yeah, I think it's always great when you can have that.
Now, people can also sign up on your website, I noticed, to find out what events are happening there. They can get emails about that?
Sure. I mean, I think that one of the things that we talked about earlier is that the advent of the internet and email and all this new electronics really means that it's a lot easier to find out what's going on.
Right.
And you can search our site or the different media forums today to figure out what's happening not only at the community center or at other places throughout the city.
And I was looking at that and thinking, oh, that would be handy, because sometimes you're not plugging in about the farmers market and you really want to go there, but the date isn't in your head. So if you get an email reminder, then, oh yeah, I've got to run there. And
today's Thursday, and
Right,
I need to go. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, that looked interesting, because I saw a couple places on your website where people could do that.
Yeah, I think it works out well for people.
Now, all of our cities have commissions and different places where people and citizens can get involved. And we're always telling people out there to get involved in your city, to look what's available. So I thought we should highlight some of what are the places where people in Maple Grove can get more actively involved.
So we as a city have a series of commissions or boards that we have that are related to the city. We have a planning commission.
Okay.
We have our park board. We have the Citizens Advisory Committee, or CAC as it's known. We have an Arbor Committee. We have a Lake Water Quality Commission. And so those are the principal boards and commissions we have in the city. So, people, there are openings periodically that we generally fill in the late fall, early winter time frame, and actually, in the very near future or early fall, if you're interested in those positions, usually the applications are there, and that's sort of the time to apply for those positions, because we will fill them by the first of the year usually. And then there's a lot of, sort of organizations in the city that are great organizations to get involved in, whether it's the Lions Club, the Rotary Club. If you are interested in the arts, we have 2 different arts councils. Art Commission. We have a series of athletic organizations. If you're kids or if you are interested in a specific sport, whether it's basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, football, there are every sport has their own organization that helps, the club or the teams in the city be organized and to raise funds and to, really learn how to play the sport.
And it takes people to run those organizations.
It takes volunteers to run those organizations, and in general, we've had a lot of great volunteers that have really contributed a lot to the city. And I'd encourage people, if they have that interest, get involved, because it is a lot of fun for you.
Now, how can people find out about what happens in each one of these commissions that you've mentioned? Because if it depends on your time of life. Sometimes you have more time and sometimes you have less. But if you're thinking about getting involved, you'd want to know what's happening in those groups so you'd know what fits you best. How can they find out about what's happening in
I think, again, probably right now the best way is through the internet, through the city site, because each of those commissions has their own tab or site. And then you can go there and see the types of activities that they're involved with. The day of the week or the month that they meet on, and sort of what the expectation is for participation and what the time commitment is, and sort of what they do. I think most of the names are self-explanatory, but I think that it's important to look at and figure out, is that something I really want to do or not?
Yeah, because once one joins a group like that, then you want to be active.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to sign up and join if you're not going to participate.
So that they can look on the internet, and then all those meetings are also open meetings. So once you've found something that looks kind of interesting, you could go to that meeting and then talk to people afterwards.
Absolutely. If you're interested, that's a great way to find out if you really want to be on that committee. Show up, talk to people, let people know that you're interested, because it's a real good way to figure out, is this something I really want to be involved with? or not.
And then when we were talking before, it is one of the ways to learn more about your city if you're kind of thinking of elective office.
Right. Well, I think it's, if you're thinking of elective office, I think it's really important that you do an investigation about what's going on in the city, and is this something I really want to be doing, because it is a huge time commitment.
Oh, it is. An important one, but one that I think most people get more back in benefits to you than the effort you put out.
I would agree, absolutely. I mean, I think that the people who are elected to office, they don't do it for those reasons. I think, sometimes they get asked, what do you get paid? Well, if you're talking about what you're getting paid, you're not very smart.
No,
because you're doing it because you want to give back to the community, and generally you receive an awful lot back from your involvement, and it's something that really works out.
Right. Now, and besides all these commissions, there are also many opportunities just for volunteering to help in the city, because you have a volunteer coordinator, right?
We do. I mean, a very good example is this upcoming weekend. We are having the planting of our medians on Saturday morning. So we will have literally hundreds of volunteers out who are organized. You have an interest, you let them know, and they'll tell you what site you should go to. But we have tons of people who come out just to help plant the flowers in the medians on a Saturday morning in May. But those types of different volunteer activities exist throughout the year, and depending on what your interest is, contact the city, ask someone, or look at our website, and you can find something that you're interested in doing.
Yeah, because I think in the cities nowadays, it's more and more important to have that base of volunteers because of the rub of dollars and don't increase taxes too much and all of that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it helps so much on the financial side, but I think also people get a sense of camaraderie and really they enjoy giving back in that sense to their community, and they get a lot out of it as well.
Yeah, because there is maybe a growing sense of people wanting that feeling of community, not to be isolated out in the suburbs, but that you're part of
I think it's very true that you're active, you're involved, you're doing something. I think it's important that you do that. And I think that you get an awful lot back from it, because there's usually a great sort of camaraderie, or you meet new friends, you develop new relationships, and it's a great way to meet people and be active in the community.
So there are a lot of opportunities for involvement in actual commissions, or just volunteering for a one-time thing.
Like I like to say, no matter what your interest is, we have some place where you can volunteer and help or be active.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your time and your thoughts and your experiences with us. And remember to take the time when an issue is important to you, take the time to find out what's happening through your city staff. Let your mayors and city council people know what your concerns are, but also when something good happens, let them know that too. And we'll look for you to join us again next week. Bye.